Hi guys, how we doing? Thanks for joining me on this Sunday night right here in Bangkok, Thailand. Okay, you might notice I've got a brand new background there. I thought it was time for a change. It's been like the old one was there for about 3 years. First 2 years it was all girly stuff, wasn't it, in the garage? Yeah. Start saying hi to everybody as usual. First one in tonight, Chris. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you there. Let's just show you what's happening in the world of exchanges. Where are we? Where are we? Okay, right. Okay, back to saying hi to everyone. Where were we? Lost already, and we just started. Rennie, how you doing? Anders Bergman, hi to you all. Drop Bear Oz, good evening. It's up to you. How you doing? 20 Rothmans, good to see you in. You're an occasional live streamer now, aren't you? 20 Rothmans, I'm safe, rubbed Vegemite onto my forehead. Not sure what that's about. Damon, how you doing? Nice to see you in. That TikTok video of your girlfriend just popped up while I was watching TikTok today. So I thought I'd send it to you just in case you hadn't seen it. It's up to you, 79 days. So I guess you're coming over. Still very much raining, very heavy most days. Let me just kind of show you what to expect occasionally. Okay, so it's not like the UK where it, you get that much rain and it goes away. It can get quite heavy. And I was actually, I'll be honest with you, I was shitting bricks last week, literally shitting bricks because of a situation I was in with water. And I'll tell you a bit about that. Let's get about 20 minutes into the stream and I'll tell that story because I know you like a good story. I like a good story, but I didn't enjoy being in that story. Paul, how you doing, mate? Beyond 33, my first live stream. Well, if it's your first live stream, we've got to get your name up there, haven't we? Good on you. Good. It usually gets a bit lively. About another half hour in, we should be there. Shane, how you doing? Richard number 5, hi to all the guys. Let's have a good one. Prince Fergus, how you doing? Good morning, Peter and Mongers. Christopher Tate, hi, hope you're all well. Have a good one. Dean Isan, how you doing? Alan Johnson, I'm trying to read through them fast because Frank always texts me and says, I forgot to take this picture off. Hang on a sec. Frank always texts me and says, you're 20 minutes behind in the text. I'm trying to go really fast tonight. Travel Man today. Hi, Peter. Good evening. How's everything in Hua Hin? Saw your video. All the best for new beginners. Well, I'm going to talk about the whole Hua Hin thing. I'm not going to stretch it out because some people aren't literally interested. But that situation with the water I was telling you about, that was on the way back from Hua Hin. And we've got set plans now. Everything's in motion. I've managed to find movers and everything. I'll tell you all about that in a bit. Ross Smith, good evening. Eating in Sky Gallery at Pattaya. Always get a few in from Thailand. You know, I always used to assume the only people watching the stream are outside of Thailand, but I always get a few people who are here. Praval, how you doing? Good evening, Peter. Hold to all your viewers. Rennie Davison, good afternoon, everybody from a windy Gothenburg. Okay, let's get rid of this now for a while. There we go. I put the gold in as well now because gold's going through the roof here in Bangkok. When I first came here, gold was 7 baht. 7,000 baht to buy 1 baht in weight of gold, and it's about 55 now. I mean, it's really going up in value. Kevin Murphy, how you doing? Paul, I said hi to you, didn't I? That must have been painful. I can't pronounce that name, so I'll just put it up on screen. 8 p.m. in Pattaya, hitting the like. Thank you very much for that. John Quayle, is it? Hi, Pete. Just returned after a month in Vietnam. Okay. The bloke, how you doing? Ray Ross, hey, Pete. Hope you're well. I am certainly very, very good. Very excited about Hua Hin. Dog, I've just seen somebody I'm going to say something to in a minute. Not horrible, but I'm going to say something. Right. I know that your picture's about that size. The guy's just giving me the super chat, and I think it's Marky Mark. So let me have a quick gander down there, and it is Marky Mark. Thank you, Mark. You're an occasional in the stream now, aren't you? Hi, Peter. Good luck on your move to Hua Hin. I just relocated to Texas, so it'll be easier for me to catch you on the live streams now. We're only a 12-hour time difference. Brilliant. You know, I do remember a lot of people who were in the stream in the UK, and some people get bored, and I understand that. And it's kind of the same thing every week, isn't it? I try to make it as lively as I can. But thanks for the super chat, by the way, Mark. But I understand people come and go, but a lot of people, I assume they've gone and I'll never see them again. Occasionally they'll drop a comment in on a video and I think, oh, you're still watching. Great. Okay. Right. Where were we? Dog, we said hi to you. Have we? Steve Austin. It's up to you how long. Okay. Gil Giggs, enjoy Hua Hin. Thank you very much. Sorry, guys, just a quick one from my daughter. Yeah, I'm home. Okay, good. Right. Cupid Stunt. That's a clever name, actually. Cupid Stunt. Let me just have a swig on this. Yeah, what are you saying anyway? Hi, Peter and everyone. Hi. Drop bear makes your hair grow if you do that with vegetable. I've never heard that before. Mine's still okay. I'm receding a bit at the front. I always try and pull it down a little bit to not look so old for the stream, you know. But somebody said on the comments the other day on one of the videos, I said, Peter, I think you put the weight back on, haven't you? And I have. And what it is, it's not because I've been eating so much, but I've got into a habit of drinking beer at 6 o'clock, like going to the Red Lion or the Sportsman or somewhere and having 2 or 3 pints. And that's what's put it on. But since people have been recognizing it, I've lost 4 kilos now in 2 weeks. The reason so much is because the first week you lose about 2 kilos in water, and then it slows down to about half a kilo a month. My bloody nose with this aircon. I'm doing it the easy way now. I'm using one of those weight loss guns, you know, the injections. Every Monday I have the injection, and it really does work. My appetite is just gone. You know, I eat, obviously I eat, but I can only eat. I went to the Royal Oak today. I could only eat like 3/4 of the meal. I skip breakfast most days. I had a couple of eggs and half a tin of beans for dinner, 1 slice of bread, because I'm going to be late tonight, you know, by the time I pack everything up. But I just got sick of being overweight. You know, it's just so, you know, especially in a hot country like Thailand. When I was 94 kilos, I just felt so much better. So it is starting to go down now. And I know I'm doing it the cheaters way, but I've tried dieting again. And it's the problem living in Bangkok. The food is so good everywhere you go. You know, Western food, you've got Italian, you've got Indian food, you've got, you know, it's everywhere. And you've got great Thai restaurants, you've got street food. And, you know, you try and go on a diet and it's just so bloody hard. You know, it was a lot easier to diet in the UK because, you know, we don't go out to eat, especially in a market town where I used to live in Kettering. So it'll be interesting. I'll keep you. I went right up to 111. When I arrived here, I was 108 and I lost all that weight. Do you remember? I went down to 97. A couple of weeks ago, I was 111. That's more than when I arrived here. I'm back down to 97 now. I'm hoping to get down to kind of not around 90 by the time I get down. Well, it won't be that much. Maybe I hope to get down to at least 95 by the time I go off to Hua Hin, you know, and then I'll keep it progressively. I'm trying to hold back on the beers now because that's what puts the weight on. Andrew, yours was a comment that made me laugh. I had an Italian kind of dish that I forget, chicken parmesan. You know, it's a chicken breast with I think it's breadcrumbs over it, and it has some nice mozzarella cheese on top. Andrew Hammond said it's up on Facebook. Andrew Hammond said it looked like a cow pat. Hardly, Andrew. Right, where were we? Richard Woolley, hi. How far am I behind? I bet I'm already. I'm a minute behind. Not too bad. Brian, how you doing, mate? I totally agree with that. What you said about the comments, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. I just think they didn't get it, Brian. You know, I think people just, like you said, it's probably jealousy. But well, let's get a few more in, and we'll discuss that. Ryan, how you doing? Hobson's Choice. Evening all. Hope we are all okay. Just back from date 7 with my nurse girlfriend. Good stuff. Well, it's going to be good then if you're on number 7. Jim, how you doing? All the way from you're in America now, aren't you? I used to say the Philippines. Super Stephen, how you doing? Beyond 33. Hey Pete, keen to retire in Thailand at 26 years old. I tell you what. Immigration are really cracking down on the borders now. A lot of younger people are getting turned back, you know, because they love it here. There's a lot of young people who are digital nomads. You know, they can make money on TikTok, they can make money on Facebook, YouTube, and all that sort of thing. And they want to stay here. They don't need to go back to their countries. They're young, you know, they get girls here, they go swimming in the ocean, they're on the islands, they love it, rent scooters, and they want to be here full time. But of course they can't. You know, you cannot stay in Thailand full time unless you're employed and you're on a work permit or you're here on some kind of a student visa, which they've cracked down on them now. And I've looked at so many posts on TikTok and Facebook of young guys who say I got turned back. You know, he asked me what. One guy, he'd gone out 1 month, he came back a week later, only his second time, and they said no, you know, we're not letting you in. Yeah, it's really strict. Okay, let's. Where were we? Gringle Pappy, is it? Good evening, Peter, from a rainy Vancouver. I'm praying for rain, actually. I know that sounds corny, but the house that we've bought down in Hua Hin, it's got a brand new lawn laid around, one at the back, one at the side, and one around the front. And of course, you're supposed to water a brand new turf 3 times a day for the first week, twice a day for the next 2 weeks, and at least once a day for the next month. Okay, well, of course, we're not there until November, so it's just there, and it's hot sun here, isn't it? But we have had some torrential rain. There's a few days we don't get rain. I'm just hoping there's enough torrential rain to keep it alive. When I was down there kind of last week, there were yellow patches, but it's not dead. And I've just sent off for Lazard, I've just sent off for a sprinkler system. So what it is, it's a timer that's operated by batteries, and you put it on the tap. I've got a couple of splitters, and I've bought 3 sprinklers, one for the front, one for the side, and I've got a system so I can rig it all up. So what I can do is set the timer so that it comes on at, say, 6 in the morning till 6:30, and then again at 6 at night until 7. And if it hasn't died by the time I get down there, I'm going back down on the 7th, which is it's the 21st today, isn't it? So that's 1, 2, it's about another 2 weeks. So I hope the grass is okay. I don't have to worry. In an apartment like this in the centre of Bangkok, you don't worry about your grass, do you? Indian Buffalo, how you doing? Richard Woolley, isn't Gotham where Batman lives? Rob J, hi Peter, 70 days to go and we'll be there for a month over Christmas. If you end up in Pattaya, maybe me, okay? Fabio, is it? Hello from Luxembourg. How are you doing? Robert Koch, love the new house and wish you much happiness. Well, like I said in the video, I'm going to document it. How many we got in now? 169. Let's give it we've been gone 15 minutes. Let's give it another 15 minutes. Finish saying hi to everyone. Stephen Longford, always enjoy your clips, Peter. Recently returned to Daventry, UK. That's not a million miles from Kettering. After 2 months on Thailand and Singapore, looking forward to going back. I bet you spent a lot more money in Singapore than you did in Thailand, right? Stephen James, I do understand why there are so many Freemasons in Thailand. I do not understand. I don't know. I've never come across them. Luxrider, AOW, good evening. Another name I can't pronounce. Hi, Peter. I'm in Vitali, is it? Checking in for same message every week. And I start reading it out every week. Kel Giggs, a lot of us watch but don't always comment. We enjoy the content. That's fair enough. Yeah, I used to listen to live streams in the UK from various people when I was walking my dog, and I wasn't walking along holding my camera. I'd have, Bluetooth. Pravel, I saw your vlog on Hua Hin House. It's great. Wishing you all the very best. Thanks, Pravel. Hua Hin's not for everybody. I heard it explained by somebody, a guy called Stephen, who's in Bangkok at the moment, told me he was talking to a bunch of guys in Bangkok, and somebody described Hua Hin as a place where old guys go to die. I wouldn't quite describe it like that, but it's not for everyone, but I love it down there. Yeah, I'm not worried about what I look like, Shane. It's more about my health. I'm 66 next year. I'm always getting checkups, but I definitely feel much more healthier when I've got the weight off. Stephen James, I'm 167 and weigh 73 kilos. How about you guys? That's a good weight. I'm cutting. Indian Buffalo says just cut down carbs and sugar. I'm cutting down everything. I'm not starving myself. This is where I went wrong the last time. I pretty much starved myself. I was living on a bowl of cereal and a salad. A bowl of cereal for lunch and a salad for dinner, and the weight fell off me. But of course, as soon as you start eating normally again, you put it back on. So what I'm trying to train my body now to have smaller portions. A friend of mine, an American guy here, he always used to, when we went for a meal, he'd always take half of it home. If he got a burger and chips, French fries, he'd cut the burger in half, separate the fries, he'd eat half of it and he'd take half home. And I noticed him do this with everything. If he had a pizza, he'd cut it in half and ask them to box half. And I was like, has that filled you up? You only had half a burger. And he's like, if you do that, the weight will come off you and your stomach will shrink and you'll get used to having smaller portions. Will fill you up, but you've just got to get to the point and say, right, I've had enough, and don't take any more. Dixie Enormous, how you doing? Lux Rider, totally understand. 179, 92 kgs. That's good. For me, under the 100 is good. Paul Garza, how come when I walk around Bangkok, all the Arab and Indian restaurants are completely empty? How do they stay in business? Then, well, it depends what time you go there. A lot of the I'll give you an example. Al Hussein, which is 33/1, which I don't really go to too much these days. I used to like to go there. Yeah, I went there for 25 years. It stays up until 2 in the morning. But that place is full at night. You know, people come out of Nana Plaza and it doesn't close till 3, so you won't get a seat in there. You go around there about 2, 3 in the afternoon, it's full. The new Bakara, just by the Nana station, you walk by there, a lot of the time it's empty, and you think, how can they make money? But they have a lot of people going there. Some Indians eat late, you know. They wouldn't be in business if they didn't have customers, but it is low season as well, remember. It's definitely quieter at the moment. I went into Det 5 the other night. I haven't been in there for about 2 months, and I fancied a pint. I thought, you know where Det 5 is? It's in Soy 8, nice outdoor place. Put a little post on Facebook. And yeah, I mean, I've near enough had the place to myself, you know, the few tables. Some, you know, 6 months ago, high season, couldn't get a table in there at 7 o'clock. You asked Damon. I can't pronounce that one either. Right. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day to sustain energy. Better to miss lunch or dinner if you must. I don't actually believe that, because I've heard a lot of times, I've read on a lot of articles online that the sentence breakfast is the most important meal of the day was made up by the Kellogg brothers, okay, because they wanted to sell cereal. And if you look at any of the respected doctors online, like Dr. Berg, for instance, I'm sure most of you have heard of him, they always say try and eat within a short window. So in other words, you know, if you have your dinner at your last meal of the day at 6 p.m., try to go all the way through till 1 o'clock the next day and don't have anything. That way your body's has to burn your calories. You know, you're going into almost a fasting state, and then you've got a very small window of eating. And every doctor online that gives tips on losing weight, they all say that, and it is you can look it up on ChatGPT. It's a true fact that the Kellogg's brothers, who make cornflakes and Weetabix and all the rest of it, I think they make Weetabix, they are the ones who invented the statement breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And I really think it's not, honestly. Right, Ray Ross, it's easy in the UK because the food is awful and it's expensive as well, isn't it? Bread puts on the fat. That's my weakness, bread. I used to get through it like wildfire. I had one slice with my egg and beans tonight, only because I'm going to be late. But yeah, you're right. Potatoes, bread, pasta. Okay. I'm about 10 minutes behind the chat. Guys, look, I'm going to have to, I'll just say quick hi to the American. He knows who he is, the Thai American. I'm going to skip a few of these comments. If you've asked a question and I don't read it out, write it again, because I get so far behind in the comments that by the time I answer them, they're 20 minutes old. So don't think I'm skipping over yours just for the sake of it. I'm not. If I get to the bottom, I'll start working back up again. I'm going to start with Alibaba and the 40 ladies. Peter, those weekly trips to see your mates in Pattaya will become more difficult from Hua Hin, and you may start to miss that. I don't have weekly trips to Pattaya. It's very rare I go down to Pattaya now because I prefer Hua Hin. I used to go down and probably once every month or 6 weeks. And if there were people there I knew, we'd meet up mainly in the daytime. But I don't think I'm going to miss Pattaya. I've been going there for a lot of years. And, you know, I've done my bit down there now. It's still a great town, but I've just outgrown it, honestly. You know, it's an age thing. It's like when I was here, when I was like 36, 37, I loved the go-go bars every single night. If I was at work, if I could get away, I'd be in Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy. I couldn't stand staying in. I used to laugh at people when I used to go past somewhere like the Red Lion and I'd see guys in there drinking. I think, what the hell? They fly all the way to Thailand and they're in the Red Lion. Why aren't they getting their asses down to Nana? But I'm that way now because you just get to a point, it does get boring. You know, the same old lines, the same old routine, and it's expensive now. It's really, you know, those places are very expensive. And I was watching very interesting. I was watching you've probably seen it yourself. You know, that awful documentary that the BBC put out, The Dark Side of Thailand, which was a load of bullshit, wasn't it? But do you remember the girl in there who works in the I can't say the word, but it begins with P, it's got an O in it and it ends in N, business online, right? And I agree with what she said. She said, if you went in the go-go bars years ago, they were full of young, pretty girls. She said, but now they're all online. And it's a fact, you know. Aaron, good evening, Peter. It's Nomyai Inspector. My other is blocked for some reason. I can't work it out. Hope the move went well. Thanks, Aaron. Sure. I think, is it Aaron? Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes this happens with YouTube and people blame me and say, you blocked me and I didn't. Right. Someone's been very generous tonight. Who's that? Praval. Right. So Praval has gifted 5 memberships. They only last for a month. I don't know who's got them, but if your name has gone green, you're a member now for a month. It means you'll have early access to the stories are released on Tuesday first for members, and a different video on Saturday, and you can come into the members stream when this one finishes. It's very much similar to this stream, but I do a lot more kind of jokes, games, competitions, stuff like that in the second half of the stream. So thank you very much, Bravo. That's very generous of you, and it gives some people a chance to see what the members stream's all about. And I think let's go back up. We were with Aaron, weren't we there? Thai American, sour bread only, sourdough bread. That's exactly what I eat. I pay 80 baht a loaf for sour bread loaf. I get it from Terminal 21. They cook it fresh every day, and I normally get 3 or 4 and freeze them. Hobson's choice. I find fasting works 2 to 3 days per week. Not eat for 10 to 12 hours, only water. Weight loss has slowed, yes, but it's not increasing. I can't do fasting for 2 or 3 days. I just can't. Maybe it's an age thing. I've tried it. I get faint. I feel like I'm going to, I feel like I get dizzy and I feel like I'm scared I'll fall down and hit my head on the concrete or something. So I prefer to just do it that way. I just think if you I walk for an hour in the park. I walk tonight for an hour in the park. I try not to use my scooter so much in Bangkok. I try to walk everywhere now. And I just think if you increase your activity and reduce your amount of food that goes into your body, it's a natural process that you'll lose weight. I mean, again, Dr. Berg, I watched him a while ago, and he said it's not about cutting certain categories out. It's just about eating sensibly and, getting into a routine. Damon says, my Thai partner eats little but often. I think it must work as she is always slim. All the Thais used to be slim 25 years ago. You wouldn't see a fat Thai. There's loads of them now. Peter, if you are motivated, do 10-kilometer walks daily and do intermittent fasting. The problem is here, after an hour, it kind of, because it's hot and humid here, I go to the park about 5. Bloody knows. I go to the park about 5 and I walk to about 6:30 if I'm feeling really good, if it's not such a hot day. But it's just so hot and humid, and I can't do gyms. To go on a treadmill half an hour, I'm bored. Even with headphones, I'm bored out of my mind. I just hate treadmills. But when I go out into the park, there's a lot of eye candy, and it's quite nice to be out in an open environment. But I do about. Because my friend goes with me sometimes, and he tells us how much we've walked, and I think we do about. The other day we did a good one. We did 5 miles, but generally speaking, I think I do about 2 to 3 miles a day. But that's it. I'd say 5 to 6 days a week I do that. Dutch Buddha, how you doing? Pattaya, Bangkok, 48. Yes, I'm not doing Nana Plaza this time. You need a lot of money these days. Okay, Beyond 33 saying thank you for the membership. And Michael Redmond also, thank you for the membership. Marshy, my Thai wife and I have lived in Hua Hin for 4 years. The guys that knock Hua Hin are usually here for a short holiday. Different if you settle here. Reach out if you need any help with anything in Hua Hin. So something that surprised me when I made that video, I've made a video, okay, and I show it. I've only released it to members. It'll be released to everybody on Tuesday, and I basically, in that video, I've never mentioned in this stream that I've got a full-time girlfriend. And I mentioned in that video that I have now got a full-time girlfriend. I think I mentioned it in the video before when I did a video on my kitchen. And the setup is like this, because I've got guys calling me simp and you're deluded and, you're going to be one of your own stories. So right now, I'll give you a quick rundown. Right now, I'm paying 21,000 baht a month to rent an apartment off a stranger, okay? It's a nice apartment. I've got a small balcony, but it's basically 2 rooms, okay? 21,000 a month, okay? Nice location, nice apartment, but 2 rooms and a small balcony, okay? Because my girlfriend works in a hospital and she's been there for 15 years, she was able to get a mortgage for 2.4 million baht, okay? She's paying, the mortgage the first year is 11,100 baht a month, Okay. The second year it goes up to about 12,000 baht a month. And the third year it goes up to, I think it's about 13,100 a month. So that's the next 3 years. How much money am I going to save? So the deal we've got is she's got the mortgage in her name. I haven't put in like 2,400,000 baht like the guys in these stories. Okay. So I've said to her, well, you get the mortgage, I'll pay the mortgage. Okay. So instead of me paying 21,000 baht a month, I'm going to be paying 11,100 baht a month, plus the electric and all the rest of it, like I do here anyway. Okay. Plus I've got 3 bedrooms, large bedrooms. Okay. A lounge, a nice kitchen that will make nice. Okay. An enclosed area where I can have a dog, big carport. Yeah. And I had guys writing to me saying I'm deluded. Well, what is deluded about that? I'm not. Okay, look, I'm going to furnish it. I'll probably spend somewhere in the region of, I don't know, 3,000 US, £2,500, like that. It's not the end of the world, is it? If it all went south, you know, I could, you know, nobody likes to lose money, but it wouldn't change my life. And the other thing, a lot of guys don't know this. Okay, you can't buy a house, land, if you're a foreigner. But if you're with a girl and you move into a Thai house, what you can do, and it's legal, you can draw up a contract that is a lease for 30 years that allows you to stay in that house for 30 years. And that gets lodged with the land department here in Thailand. Now, if something was to happen with me and her, 5 years we fell out, or 10 years we fell out, legally, she cannot throw me out of that house. I'm entitled to live in that house for 30 years. That is the law here, okay? Even if I didn't want to be with her and I moved out and I came back to Bangkok, she still couldn't sell it because she needs a signature from me. So I just don't see the risk, you know. And these guys who are leaving comments saying, you know, another sucker, you know, a simp, oh, you're deluded. It's actually unbelievable, because I think it's such a good deal. It's a good deal for her because she gets an asset, and why shouldn't she if she's going to be looking after me when I'm older? It's a good deal for me because I'm saving 9,000-10,000 baht a month. How much is that going to be over the next 10 years, right? So it's a great deal. I think it is. And you know, these I don't know, just brainless, I think. You know, if any of them are watching tonight, if I've insulted you, sorry, but it's a good deal. If I'm missing something, please tell me, somebody. Hi, Franco. How you doing? I'm in the background watching. Good. And Chris is, and Damien is. So there might be one guy in tonight. I had words with this guy. He didn't like the fact that I said there's a German beer you can get. I forget the name of it, but it's brewed in Thailand. I made a little clip for Facebook because it's German beer. And I said, look at this fish. You'd probably play twice as much in Bangkok. And he actually emailed me. And he just kept emailing me because he didn't like what I emailed him back. In the end, I just totally blocked him. But he could come in on another account, and he might come in here. I'll put that up there. Robbo, hey. Okay. I think these two should get a room. Look at this. Look. Right. Paul, are you any good at chess? I don't know how to play, Paul. I used to know when I was, it's funny, I used to play a little bit when I was very young, like 17, 18. I just totally forgot now. Rob, how you doing, mate? Good evening, Peter and Franco. Yeah, we eventually did have them beers in Pattaya, didn't we? Swamp Zoid, is it? How you doing? Aaron, pronounced Aaron. Okay. I'll probably forget, so tell me again in 2 weeks' time. Richard, worst thing you can do is eat before going to bed. That one I agree with. You know, you should have your last meal about 6 or 7, and that's it. And another thing I try to do, if I want a particular meal, like say I want a pizza or I want a bit of Western food, or, you know, or I do like chicken fried rice, like Thai food. You know, I like something called Rad Nagai. It's thick, flat noodles with chicken and vegetable. It's very, very nice. But if I want a meal like that, I'll tend to have that at lunchtime. And then in the evening, I'll have something light. Like I make my own soups. A lot of vegetables. I make big pots of it and then freeze it. I tend to have that in the evening. But the problem with that is if I go to bed, if I sit up and go to bed about 11, 12, no problem. But after a stream, I don't sleep until about 2 in the morning, because even though I finish at 11, by the time I've answered comments, answered emails, taken the green screen, put all this to bed, it's already midnight, and I have to have a couple of beers to kind of come down and relax again, you know. So it's always a late night. And if I didn't have something substantial, what would happen is by 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll be making cheese toasties. I've got a kitchen, right, with cheese, bread, everything. And I don't want to eat at night. And when you've had a drink, it's not as easy to say no. By the way, this is cleaned up nicely. Can you see? I had this cancerous lump cut out, and I had stitches in it for 5 days, and I had the report back, and there's nothing there. It's all gone. They cut it out, and it's good now. I got to go back in about a month's time just to see how it's healed up. I had an operation on my teeth here because I had an infection around here, someone that crept into my sinus. Remember, I was in agony and toothache down there in Hua Hin, and had all my gum cut open, and they scraped out all the infection, and I'm all good to go now. So I just got to lose the weight, and I'll be like the $6 million man, Steve Austin? Who's old enough to remember him? Ray, can you get the injections at pharmacies? Tell me where you are, Ray, because you just go in and you can't get it at pharmacies. I go to a place called Med Clinic. Okay, it's if you come out of term. That's the best way to describe it. Right, imagine you're at ASOC. You cross over at ASOC as if you're going to Soy Cowboy, but you don't turn left when you go over the zebra crossing or the crosswalk, as Americans call them. So you cross over ASOC zebra crossing. If you go to Cowboy, normally you go left. Go straight. You go past that yellow petrol station, and that street there. If you went in from that end where Crazy House is, that's Soy 23. Go over, cross over Soy 23, and before the next Soy, there's some steps that go down, and there's a clinic there called Medcare. Okay, you go in there and you make an appointment. You go. It's expensive. You go to see a doctor, and he'll just ask you if you've had diabetes, if you're allergic to anything, and it's a month's supply, 4 injections. They show you how to use it. So it's in my fridge. I use it every Monday. I put a fresh needle on it, and I'll just inject myself in the stomach. And I tell you what, it works. It really does. The last one I tried, it worked for 1 day and nothing. But this one's great. Now, I'm just not hungry. The only reason I eat is my brain says, look, Peter, you haven't eaten for 16 hours. You better eat now. And I'll eat something. And I can't finish it, and it's really good, but it's expensive. It's like, it works out to nearly 12,000 baht for a 1 month course. But, if it shifts a load of weight off me, I'm happy to pay it while I can. Not sure what you mean there, Steve. How often do you lift? If you mean weights, I did a while ago. I haven't done it for a while. I'm a pad thai. Okay, right. I've got to keep an eye on these comments, guys, so I don't fall too far behind. Right, swimming or walking 20 laps in the pool 3 times a day. I like swimming. We got a nice pool here, and I used to use it a lot. But what put me off is all the kind of people used to just come up hot and sweaty and not take a shower and just jump in, and I'm in the same water with them, and I know I won't catch anything because there's chemicals, but it kind of put me off. Franco, as not a naughty as you're looking forward to catching up with you next month, okay? Damon, Damon threatened to call me up when he comes here, whether he will or not. Let's see. Being sarcastic now. Steve, don't those injections cause ED? Look, Steve, I wouldn't believe everything you hear, okay? These injections are the newer breed. They also help you if you smoke, because they take away the desire to drink, smoke, all that sort of thing. And they've been clinically tested in the States, and they've been released by their, what do they call it? MEDEA? That's not wrong, isn't it? But they have somebody who oversees the pharmaceuticals in America, and it has to pass rigid tests for a long time, and then when it's released to the public, it's deemed safe. So I'm taking it. If my dick falls off tomorrow, it's my own fault, isn't it? Right. Chow Mary, Peter, you said all the good things about weight loss, but you just need to be consistent. Absolutely. Jeff Fried Rice, to lose weight is about having a caloric deficit, which is what I said, right? If you like junk food and only less what your body burns in a day, you lose weight. Now with junk food, that might be only one. Do you know what, Jeff? Honestly, I very rarely eat fast food now because I don't actually like it. And the only time I'll eat like a McDonald's or something like that is if I drive down to Hua Hin. It's a long drive, 3.5 hours, and I get hungry. So there's more options on the way to Pattaya. They've got a nice PPT services, and they got Black Canyon, and they got a few restaurants there. But they're going down to Hua Hin, there isn't a lot of choice, and I tend to just have a quarter pounder or something. Kev Mac, I was there in May. Can't wait to get back. Very wet at the moment. Broadcast day. Hi, handsome man. Oh, thank you. I'll put that up on screen. It depends where you are. Pattaya is obviously cheaper, but saying that, you go to any of the big go-go bars on Walking Street, they're very expensive, as are some of them in Nana Plaza, those sort of places. I can tell you freelancers, they'll ask for 2, they'll want 15. That's for ST. I think in Nana, somebody was telling me short time's like 4,000. I don't know what long time is, and it's pretty much the same for it. That's what they'll ask for anyway. Yeah, you're okay. Swamp, is it Swamp Zoid? You're moving to Bangkok from soon from the US. Can't wait. Bangkok's a great city. I've been coming here on and off for years, but it's really funny, right? Let me just tell you the plans, what's happening. So I got this apart when I first split up with my wife and family. I came here and I went straight to Pattaya in October. I was in Pattaya for 2 months, got sick of it because I was drinking myself silly every night and I was like a full-time holiday maker. I would have killed myself if I stayed down there. And then I decided to come to Bangkok, and I got this place and I signed the lease on the 2nd of December. That's actually when my lease runs out, 2nd of December. I'm now on my 3rd year. And what we now, next month is October. So I'm nearly at the end of my 3rd year on the lease. My rent is due on the 2nd of October, so I'm going to pay it. My girlfriend's given her notice at the hospital already. Okay, so she has to work till the I wanted to go down mid-November, but she has to work till the 31st of October. So what we're going to do is we're going down to Hua Hin on the 7th for 5 nights, and I've already organised with AIS for my broadband to go in. I'm putting 4 cameras around the house. We've picked out all the furniture. We've picked out the air cons that we're buying for the rooms and all the rest of it. So what we're doing on the 7th, I'm going to go down there, put the sprinkler system on the garden if the grass isn't dead, get that all set up. We're going to call from here and get AIS, fix a date. They said just call us when you're coming down, so that when we're down there, we're going to get the AIS broadband, and then I can get the cameras wide in because I can look at it on my phone and from away. And then we're going to get all the furniture put in place, and then that's everything we need. It's got the aircon, the cameras, the internet, some furniture, the bed, the sofa, everything. But then we've got to move. So then what the plan is, she'll finish on when did I say, the 31st. So we'll pack up along that week. We'll get boxes from the moving company. I've got a moving company, an English guy, funny enough. And then we'll pack most of everything. We've got all this kind of, well, you can't see, I'm doing this, you can't see what I've got. So I've got my laptop, a table, there's a printer, there's a lot of lighting here, my green screen, all my cables and half a dozen cameras and everything. All that will go down in the car with me. And then, so the final day will be the 30th for the packing. They'll come and take it probably the day before, and then we'll drive down on the 1st of November, and that's it. We're then living in November, living in Hua Hin. So I've got it all organised, and I'm going to give my notice in on this place on the 1st of November. 1st of October. So what are we today? 21st. So next week I'll give my notice on this place on the 1st of October, and it'll run out. Yeah, I can basically, my last day will be the 1st of November, and then that's it. So really looking forward to it. So I don't know if anybody's looking for a nice 1-bedroom apartment, 51 square meters, balcony, washing machine, really nice wood floors, shower, bathroom, everything. I can't tell you where it is right now, just in case I get some idiot, you know what I mean. But I can tell you it's close to Nana Station. Richard Willie, Ed has a lot to do with being 4 or 5 stone over your peak weight when you was young. Okay, not sure what you mean there, Ed. Jim Jones, have you considered taking up more type here? Sport bores me, any kind of sport. I've never liked any sports. I mentioned this last time. I must be one of the few guys who doesn't like football, rugby, cricket. There's nothing. I don't. Sports has just never done it for me, you know. Let's get down to some of these later comments. Pattaya Bangkok 48. They're bringing out a movie soon. $6 billion man, Mark Wahlberg, going to be Steve Austin. Wow, isn't that a coincidence? That's from the 70s. That was million Steve Austin. We can rebuild him. What else was on? The Hulk. Remember the Hulk? That was stupid, wasn't it? Used to be good to watch, though. Right, Anton, you don't think you'll get tired of having to drive anywhere? Right now, you can walk, BTS or MRT. No, it's the opposite way around, Anton. It's a good question. Something I left out about moving down there. There's a company in Hua Hin. They'll collect your motorcycle and take it anywhere in Thailand for a fee, of course. And they're going to come up to Bangkok the day before I drive down there, they wrap the scooter up in cellophane so it doesn't get scratched, put it in the back of a box truck, small box truck, take it down. He's going to keep it in he sells second-hand bikes. He's going to keep it in his showroom overnight for me. The following day, I'll drive the car over to there with my girlfriend. She'll ride the scooter back to the house, and then that's it. We're complete then. Right, let's answer your question. No, not at all, Anton. I'll tell you why. I don't know. I can't remember if you told me you'd been to Hua Hin, but here, yes, you've got the BTS and you have got the MRT, but, you know, that's great. That is great for getting around the city. But what I really like about Hua Hin, I don't drive my car in Bangkok because it's just pointless. It just takes longer to go anywhere, okay? But in Hua Hin, I drive my car every day, the same as I did in England. So I can drive to Big C on a Tuesday morning, park up, fill up the boot, you know, get a massive fridge in Hua Hin, fill up with all the goodies, you know, the weekly shop, and drive back. I can drive into town at night. My scooter, there's nice long highways that aren't congested and overcrowded all around Hua Hin. You know, it's a great place to drive. They don't have traffic. The main Pegasin Road that goes through the middle, that gets a bit busy sometimes when the school's empty out and that. But no, I mean, I love the fact that I can jump in my car and go anywhere. It takes me 12 minutes from Hua Hin railway station to get to my house. So my house is about 7 miles away from Soi 94, the centre. That's why it was 2.4 million. You get it in the center, it's going to be 5 million. But no, not at all. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Hua Hin and I really like it. Really like it. Right, Damon, and don't forget, I'm going to get a dog as well, so that'll take up a bit of my time. Peter, is it okay to inject into the cornet? I wouldn't try. I know you're only joking, but that sounds nasty. I've just said that, haven't I, Mark? Any plans to get a dog when you move to Hua Hin? I had a pug for 14 years, also like the French bulldog. I'm definitely going to get another dog, because if you watch that video where I show you the house, it's completely enclosed. You know, there's a back wall, there's 2 side walls, the front wall, and there's a gate to get the car in. So once that gate's closed, that dog cannot get out, okay? Unless he's a German Shepherd, he's a good jumper. But I don't want to get another beagle, because I was looking at dog breeds on I forgot what it's called now, Chat GPT. I want a dog that will double up as a guard dog. I don't want something that's so ferocious it will attack my friends when they come around, you know, like some Rottweiler or something, you know, some breed, you know what I'm saying, some big aggressive dog. But on the other hand, I don't want something like a beagle or a Labrador, because they'll help, a beagle or a Labrador, they'll help the thieves load up the van, you know, they're that friendly. So it's got to be something, a dog that's kind of not too big. I don't really want to have a small dog like a pug, kind of medium-sized dog, something that's not aggressive, but if strangers come around, you know, we'll leave him in the yard. We'll put a basket out in the yard because I've got a big carport. He won't get wet if it rains. And if somebody tries to come in the back or whatever, he'll get aggressive with them because he's guarding the house. But with us, he's very friendly, and with friends, he's really friendly. So I'm going to get one eventually, probably after about 3 months, 4 months down there. But I've just got to get the right one. Beagles are great with kids, but they're useless guard dogs. Swamp Zoid, I don't eat carbs, fried food, processed food, or desserts. I don't drink any alcohol. At 63, I'm concerned about my health. I gave up smoking, and I do occasionally eat fried food. What else don't you do? I do occasionally eat desserts, but what I'd say to that is, there's an old joke. A guy goes to a doctor's, he's about 65, and the doctor says, look, if you keep eating this fried food and stuff, you know, you're not going to live all that much longer. What you should be eating is salads every day, you know, nice salads. And the guy says, will I live to be 100? And the doctor says, no, but it'll feel like it. You know, I mean, it's a joke, but it's true, isn't it? I don't want to be a priest. You know, I know stupid. I mean, I know I'm not calling smokers stupid, but for me personally, I know smoking wasn't a good deal, and I probably would have died young if I hadn't given it up. And also with the alcohol, you know, I do want to give up alcohol because I spend quite a bit of money on it, you know, and my funds will get, I won't be on so much money when I'm younger. And, you know, alcohol's dangerous if you drink it every day. Beer makes you fat. But on the other hand, like I say, I don't want to be a priest. I think it's all things in moderation. You know, if you want a dessert, have one once or twice a week. You know, if you want a McDonald's, maybe once a month, something like that. You know, to cut everything out of your life, it's just, I just couldn't do it. You know, I'd just be so miserable. Marky Mark, I've just done that one, haven't I? FDA, Chris, that's it. The American FDA, they're the ones who passed the injection. Hobson's choice. It's a win-win situation. In my opinion, what you are doing, Peter, I'd consider the same thing. I'm happy with the, I'm happy with it. Prince Fergus, thank you very much for that. I had a dog once, but we got divorced. My wife is much better. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the super chat. Talking of beers. Okay. Where were we? Paul Hoskins, is Indian or Thai food poisoning the worst? They've got a few Indian, I like Indian food. They do have 3 or 4 Indians down there. They've just opened, I'm not a big fan of burgers, but they've just, I looked at a post on Facebook. If you know Hua Hin, 94 is where the kind of most of the action is there in Bintabat, and they've just opened a brand new prime burger. They are very good burgers. The first one opened up in Phuket. They've got 20 locations now. I don't know who's opened them, but they're doing very well. Thank you, Kev. Is it Jamie Travels or Kevin? Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Talking to each other. Michael Redmond, Pattaya was beautiful this afternoon after a few weeks of rain. Really lovely afternoon. One thing, hi Michael, how you doing? One thing I really like about the heavy rain here, it does kind of like, it's almost like, imagine a car that had been sitting in a garage and it's got a layer of dust over it, and it's been there for 10 years and it's thick dust, and you get a high-powered hose, and no soap, nothing. You just spray this hose across the bonnet and the boot, and you've got this line and you can see the paint underneath. It's almost like that here, when it hasn't been raining, it's sticky and a bit dirty, and you get a really heavy torrential downfall for an hour. You can almost smell the city come alive again. It's really fresh. It's probably sound a bit silly and poetic, but that's what I get when it's very heavy rain. Right. Let me tell you my story about coming back from Hua Hin, where I was shitting bricks. Okay, so what I do when I go down to Pattaya, the problem for me is when I come back from Pattaya, for anybody who knows the Nana area in Bangkok, so imagine you come out of Nana Plaza, turn right as if you're going to Sukhumvit, and the police box is there, isn't it? Imagine you turn left as if you're going to the Plonchit Centre. And as you're walking, there's a highway, isn't there? You go under a highway there. Let me just say thank you quickly to Joyce Roma. Thank you, Joyce Roma. Nice one. May the force be with you every week. Okay, so where that highway is, I come off there because I live close to Nana. So what happens? I get on the highway. It doesn't matter what time of day. The highway's great. Motorcycles aren't allowed on there. It's a toll road, okay? 120 kilometers an hour all the way back. It takes me 2 hours, no problem. But what I used to do was you can check out at 12, right, of the hotels. So what we used to do is to check out at 12, have a nice lunch, drive back leave Pattaya about 1 o'clock, and then we'd get into Bangkok around 3:30 when the schools are emptying out. So on that highway, we used to come down the slip road and then turn left onto Sukhumvit Road, and I could be home in 15 minutes. Okay, it was a really good route. But what was happening was it was a great drive home, but every time I got to that slip road, I'd sit on it for 40 to 45 minutes. I'm like 2 miles from my apartment, and it'd take me an hour to get from that slip road. So what I started doing was doing it at night. So I'd check out at 12. We'd go over to Jumpty and park the car up on the seafront there. We'd go and have lunch. We'd rent a couple of those chairs. We'd sit on the beach all afternoon. 5:30, 5:45, we'd pay the lady. We'd go to another nice restaurant. We'd have a nice meal. We'd leave Pattaya about 6:30. We got to that slip road about 2 hours later, say 8:30, straight off the slip road. Hardly any traffic. All the evening rush hour traffic was gone on Sukhumvit. So we'd come off the highway, down the slip road, straight onto Sukhumvit, easy peasy, as they say, and it was great. Now, the problem with Hua Hin is it's a longer drive. It's about 3.5 hours if it all goes well. So the first time we left after lunch like we usually did, and it's terrible. 30 miles outside of Bangkok, they're erecting one of these toll roads above the regular road, okay? But it's all construction. Parts of it fell down. People have been killed building it. It floods really, really badly. But you've got to go that way, right? And what happens? They close lanes, and you literally, for the last 30 miles, it's stop, start, stop. And honestly, it's horrible, absolutely horrible, until you get about 10 miles out of Bangkok. Then it speeds up again, right? But it's absolutely really bad, okay? So I thought, right, let's try doing it after breakfast, see if it's any better. So we'd have breakfast, leave about 9:30, and it was better. It flowed, but it was still extremely busy. You know, although you weren't start, stop, start, stop, you were kind of having to really be alert because, you know, lanes are closed, cars were close to you on each side. And if you wanted to pull over, you know, it was a bit terrifying because they don't let you in Thailand. And, but we get back, but I started getting sick of it, you know, because it just took so long. And, so I said to her, I said, well, look, what we'll do this time, we'll do what we do with Pattaya. We'll leave at 6, we'll have dinner at 6 and we'll leave at 6:30, okay, in the dark. Now, bearing in mind, the road from Pattaya to Bangkok is great. It's a tollway straight all the way down. The roads aren't like that to Hua Hin. So it was quite a fast drive most of the time. So we left at 6:30. It's dark, all gone good. We got just outside of Hua Hin. We had the most torrential rain. And it was nighttime. I'm not exaggerating. There's one part of the road when you get just outside Hua Hin to link up to a highway. It's about 5 miles. And at night, there's nothing on it. In 5 miles, I've seen 2 cars coming the other way, okay? So I'm driving along, okay? The road, you can see the road's covered in water. I can't see the actual white lines in the middle. I'm driving along. The window wipers are going like, you know, number 2, the fastest one. There's no houses or anything. So each side of the car, you look out, it's this complete blackness, you know. There's no street lights. I've got a little MG3. The lighting, the front lights aren't brilliant, you know. People can see me, but it's not like they illuminate the whole road in front of me. So it's torrential rain smashing down on the windscreen. I'm sitting up like this, looking out the window, trying not to go off the edge of the road because I can't see the white line. Nothing on the edge. And I thought to myself, if the car stops now, and somebody else comes along, they just won't see me. They won't have time. We can't get out and stand on the side of the road because it's torrential rain and we can't see, you know, there might be a canal there, for instance. And I was very worried, very worried. And that was the first one. And then when we came back, something I didn't know, maybe I should have looked it up, they actually closed the main road coming back from that last 30 miles before Bangkok. The road where you go under the new highway, they actually close it at night, completely close it, the whole stretch, because they work on it. So what happens is we had to take secondary roads. The sat nav, I wasn't sure. I got lost 4 times. My girlfriend and me started arguing with each other because she was like, I'm sure it's this way, sure. And I'm like, no, the sat nav says this. I says, look, we've got to go over the bridge and we'll be in the main part of Bangkok. That's straight on, I remember. And she's like, no, there's no bridge now. There's no bridge. Take this way. And I went that way. And then I've seen the bridge over there, you know. And it was like the water was so deep there at that point where Rama 9 is, you know, and the MG3 is quite a low car. And I was terrified that the engine was going to stop because the water was high, probably up to the bottom of the car. And I was watching the cars in front of me. And as they were going, you know, the water splashing out of each side. And, you know, we got through it. We got home about 10 o'clock. So we left at 6. We stopped for 2 minutes at a service station just to go to the loo. No drinks, no nothing. Got in. I was literally, I'm not exaggerating. My body was drained. I'd been sweating, nervousness, anxious. I got in. I could have, you know, I flopped on the sofa and it was awful. So if you go to Hua Hin, do not leave at night. Maybe when the highway's finished, but it was bad. It was bad. Right. Okay. I hope I've cheered you up tonight. Let's go back into some of these. Michael, do you know if the bar girls in Nana Plaza get mandatory? Okay. Damon, have you told the landlord that you're off? I bet she's going to miss you as you've been a great tenant. Yeah. Look, I met an American guy the other day who's got a same size apartment as me. I had lunch with him and some other guys, and he's same apartment as me right now. Bearing in mind, I paid 20,000 for the first 2 years, and she put it up to 21, and she only put it up because I opened my big mouth, you know, saying I realize you'll have to put it up, or I don't think she'd have put it up, but still I'm paying 21. And he says, yeah, I moved into my place 8 years ago and they haven't put the rent up, not once. So I'm like, oh, you're lucky. How much do you pay then? He says 28,000 a month. And I'm like, what, 28,000? I was paying 20. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, if something breaks, I tell her, but I pay for it. I replace it. I don't ask her. Like, I needed a new kitchen tap. I got one from Lotus. It was like 300 baht, paid 100 baht to the engineer to fix it. Job done. The bum gun started leaking water. I sent her a picture. I said, don't worry about it. I'm taking care of it. You know, I don't have a dog. There's no complaints. So yeah, she is going to miss me. I'm a good tenant. And I think that's why she's kept the rent low. But, you know, we've got to move on. We've got to move on. And it's going to be a better life for us. And, you know, as much as I like her as a landlady, I can't like not move just because, not to upset her. She won't be upset. She'll understand. Thai American, couldn't Peter, will your dog sleep indoors or outdoors? Well, we'll let him roam the yard in the day. He'll sleep indoors. I'll get one of those kiddie gates, because otherwise they start, barking and jumping up on the sofa and all sorts. One thing I've got to be careful of, though, and I'm not exaggerating here, at the back of the house, there are banana trees, okay? It's quite a lot of vegetation. And in Thailand, they have some big pythons, these snakes that wrap themselves around goats and suffocate them, then eat them. I mean, I've seen a python here. It was probably 8 meters long, and I'm not exaggerating, width like that, and my hand would fit in its mouth comfortably, okay? Two hands, right? And they smell through their tongue, the forked tongue, and they'll have them in this vegetation. I've got to be careful, because if I've got a little dog running around and this, snake smells him and slithers over the fence, I could come around one day and he's gone. Where's he gone? He's inside the snake. So I've got to really keep an eye on him. Okay, what I'm doing this week, guys, I hope it doesn't upset you, but I'm skipping blocks of comments because I get so far behind us. Franco keeps telling me I want to try and keep it up to date. So again, if you want to ask a question or it's something important, just write it again. James Z. Dean, good day, Peter. Good luck with Hua Hin. I hope it all works out for you. Yeah, me too. Thank you. Vietnam Viking, Monjar, that's the one. That's the one I'm on now. Yeah, the other one didn't work. The injection. Paul, no, I won't get a boat in Hua Hin. Somebody said to me, yeah, I've heard that as well, Richard. Somebody said to me, when you go down to Hua Hin, aren't you scared your YouTube channel will collapse? Because people come to Bangkok, they're interested in Bangkok. Not everybody's interested in Hua Hin. Aren't you worried that you're going to lose a lot of subscribers? And I've thought about it, and I thought, you know what? I'd say about 75% of the videos I make are in my apartment anyway. It's either the Saturday stories, or I'm talking about buying property, or why you shouldn't do something, or occasionally I'll go and sit in the park and make a video. I do the odd food review, don't I? I do hotel reviews when I go to Pattaya, but no, I don't think so. I can do apartment reviews, how much they cost. I can hotel reviews. I don't have to stay in them just to do a review. Show good things down there, maybe encourage people to go down there because it's cheaper. We'll see. If what it is, isn't it? As they say. I don't get that. You say AMC, Peter, the form you need to sign is called I can't even pronounce that. Is that what form is that? Is that for the 30-year lease? I've got a lawyer anyway. Peter from Thailand Ban. Peter from Thai Legal Protection. He's helping me out. Mark, after you make the move, are you planning to take any trips south of Hua Hin in search of a new content? Oh, absolutely, Mark. I mean, this time I did a video. I can't remember. I think I put it up on Facebook. But the biggest thing people say is the beach at Hua Hin is not very good, and that's where the tourist area is, where the Hilton is. Yeah, I mean, it's not where they put all the chairs up, but there's big rocks here and there on the beach. It's not the best beach I've seen in the world, but just like 5 miles out both ways, they've got some fantastic, beautiful beaches where you think you've been on an island. And I went to one that somebody told me about, and it was like a cove and had a little Thai restaurant. Very low prices, 45 baht for a plate of chips, French fries, fried rice, 50 baht, that sort of thing. And it was a little cove. They had a few chairs to sit on, and most of the people who were there seemed to be long-term expats, they didn't look like tourists. And they got some nice places, and there's a famous cave down there. And I'm going to do some trips. And this is one of the things I'm really looking forward about my girlfriend finishing work, because I was always tied to, we're going for 2 days because she's got 2 days off, or we're going for 4 days because she's got 4 days off. Well, the fact that she's not working, she's going to be looking after the house. We can do trips and say, hey, we want to go away for a week. Something else I like about Thailand, especially, my dog in England, if I wanted to put him into a boarding kennels, I had to take him to the vet. I had to pay a lot of money for special injections. I had to get a pet certificate to say he's this and that. And then when I finally got all that, I had to go to the kennels and pay a lot of money to board the dog, and booking in advance, and real hassle to go away with a dog in the UK. And I researched it in Hua Hin. They have dog hotels. You just go along, take your dog, 300 baht a day. What's that? £7.50. So if I wanted to come to Bangkok for 3 nights, it's going to cost me, less than £50, and I don't have to go through all the rigmarole finding. I mean, of course, I'll find a vet to give him his injections and stuff. But if we say, hey, let's go to Pattaya for 2 nights, we just take him, put him in the the pet hotel, 600 baht, come back, pick him up, easy, right? Vinegar stroked is it? Drove from Hua Hin to Pattaya. It took ages. I did that. It took me 5 hours. We stopped for a coffee on the way. Just put it in the car and took it. It is because it's right round the Gulf. You got Pattaya. It's like a horseshoe, isn't it? Pattaya's on one side, Hua Hin's on the other, but it's further down. Kev Mack, I got a coach from Phuket to Pattaya once. It took 13 hours, and it was one of the maddest trips I've ever taken. Wow, that must have been probably the driver got lost then, because I used to take, before I had a car, I used to take the bus from Edgamaya bus station. So I'd take the BT. I'd have a small case on my own. I didn't have a girlfriend then. I'd take the BTS from Nana to Edgamaya, which cost me, I think, about 50 baht. I'd buy the ticket from window one at Edgamaya, which I think at the time was 214 baht one way. It dropped me off at the North bus terminal in Pattaya, which was about and then I'd get a boat to take me to my hotel. A quick tip: if you ever go to Pattaya on the bus, okay, when you get off, they have all the songtels lined up, and they come up to you, where you go, and you tell them, yeah, 50 baht, and you think, oh, perfect. You jump in the back of this songtel. I did it once before I knew it. You're going to sit there till he has both of those bench seats filled up. And when you eventually go, it's a milk run, because they go to every single hotel that they've got to drop off on. And if yours hotel is the last, and you've got to go all the way down the beach road in that traffic, all the way along the second road, and they're dropping people off, never take them. Just call a boat and get them to come and take you into town. Thai American, when I retire, I'm never driving again. FFS, but I'll get an ADV. I love both. The good thing about the car is I didn't worry about the sun before, but I got this, and I've got to be a bit clever now with this. The doctor told me to put sunscreen 50 UV 50 on it for a year. Okay, and I wear a baseball cap every time I leave the front door now. But when I was in Pattaya and Hua Hin, me and the girl would be out. We'd be out like driving around for 6 hours. Not constantly, but in the middle of the day, midday, 1 o'clock, I'll be driving along on the scooter. We'd drive on the highways, and there was nothing protecting me, and I got this cancerous lump. And I've got to be careful now. So something that's really good about, I've made a rule now, something that's really good about having the car is if we go out between the hours of, say, 11 till 3, we'll take the car because it's just hot. Once it gets past sort of 4 o'clock, it starts to cool down. Yeah, we can use a scooter, and I'll probably use a scooter locally around the village. It's like I said, there's no traffic. It gets very, very dark at night around there. I went over one night I said to her, look, after dinner, I want to go over, see what it's like in the evening, if it's noisy or not. Went over there and just parked up the scooter in the street outside our house, what was going to be our house then. And I just listened, and you could hear some Thais talking across the road over there. And I could hear a TV set over here, but nothing. Once you're in, shut the wind, you wouldn't hear nothing. Yes, Paula, leaking bum gun. It wouldn't make me chuckle, would it? If I got a dog and I loved him, and he was a guard dog, and I come home and he's gone, I won't leave him outside when I'm away. I'll get a cage and leave him in a cage with his water. Joseph John, dog breeders command a better price when they include miniature in the title. Haha. Okay. I don't know if you're joking or if that's a serious question, but you're saying, why are you considering settling with a girlfriend? A deal is not a deal relationship. I really like her a lot. My days I was married for 33 years. So last kind of 10 to 15 years, we stayed together out of habit, more for the children or anything. When I got here, I didn't date anybody for 2 months. I was upset because losing my family. Well, not my kids, but you know what I mean. And I put myself out on Tinder after 2 months, and I met a few girls, and the stories here. They're like, oh, I don't have money they got kids and dependents, and they're always hinting that they want money. They call you up, and I had a friend, he had a girl. She'd call him up and she'd say, I've only got 240 baht in my bank account, and he kind of said like, oh, that's tough, and she finished with him, and next day he showed me an advert. She was on Tinder, recently broken up. I like Ruth bars, so it's really hard to find a real nice girl here. So I met the girl I'm with now. She works in a hospital in Sapang Kwai. She'd been there 15 years. She's never been married, never had any children. She's got 2 sisters, which I've met, both very nice women. And she was 45 when I met her. I was 62. And we just got on really well. And I used to see her a couple of times a week. And then I'd see her, 4 or 5 days a week. And in the end, it got to the stage where you might as well move in. She'd take the BTS from work every night and in the morning. And we've been together for 3 years. And we have the occasional fight. Of course we do. But, she's somebody I think I want to spend. I don't want to be on my own when I'm like 70, 75, 80. If I live that long, I don't want to be like somebody who's nobody kind of cares for me or wants to be with me, or, people just want me for my money, like girls at Nana Plaza. So in answer to your question, she's a nice girl. I enjoy her company, and, she treats me right. There's no schemes going on. She's not, okay, people say, oh yeah, but you bought her a house. So, that's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, it was my idea, and she was with me for 3 hours, but 3 years before I suggested it. And the only 2 reasons I suggested it was, one, because I know I'd save a lot of money because it's cheaper down there. And secondly, I wanted her to finish work because I want to spend more time with her. I want to be able to say, right, let's fly up to, what's that place? Not Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai. I've never been to Chiang Rai. I've been to Chiang Mai. We went to Cambodia together. It was the first time she left Thailand. She had 5 days off, and we went to Siem Reap, and we had a great time. And that's why I want to do it. So, like I said, I don't know if you're joking, but in answer to your question, I can walk away anytime, right? Can't I? But, so far so good, as I say, touch wood. Right, URL Droid Superbot. Why are you, I've just read, that's what I've just been explaining. Indian Buffalo, I was enjoying the live till you mentioned snakes, all right? Though that's something you got to be careful of here. And, my friend Edward, he said, and he's in an apartment, he said he came back to his computer and there was a spider on the desk the size of a baseball, which he had to take care of. Drop Bear, if the snake eats your dog, just keep the snake as your pet. I was really surprised, I put into Chat GPT. I mean, you might think I'm being overreactive here, okay? But you never know. And I put into Chat GPT, I said, if I go into my backyard and I find a big python wrapped around my dog, what's the best way to get it off? Because I don't want to go up and get bitten, do it. And I was surprised. What it says is keep a hose pipe nearby. And if there's a snake in the garden, or it's on your dog or cat or whatever, spray it in the face. Just keep the jet of water in the snake's face. And it gets so confused, it just unwraps and goes, So I've got 4 taps in my garden. So I'll make sure they're always on standby. Damon, Peter, that video you sent me on the beach looks great and nice and quiet. Really nice, Damon. Really nice. I can't remember if you've been to Hua Hin or not. I think you have, haven't you? Automotive. I will be coming to Thailand February 2026. Visit Hua Hin. Is the train a good option as travel down there? Do you have a hotel in Hua Hin you can recommend? Oh, there's lots of hotels in Hua Hin, just go onto a Golda booking site. Make sure you stay somewhere around Bintabat or Soi 94, because those 2 locations are in the center of town, and that's where all the bars and restaurants and everything is. But in answer to your question, yeah, there's a train service. My friend Thomas goes down on the train. He'll take it at 3:30 in the afternoon. It gets in about, it's funny enough, it's not much faster than a car. It gets in around 7, and just in time for him to go to a nice night market and have dinner, and he comes back by train. I'm going to do the train with him, so I've never been on that run, and I want to do a video of it. I'm going to go down with him at some point. Paul Hoskins, would you drive to Chiang Mai in the car? No way, Paul. Do you know how far Chiang Mai is? It would take me, if I did it, if I went to Chiang Mai in the car and I didn't stop, not even for a pee, which would be impossible, it would take me 12 hours. And so if you stop, it's like Phuket. If you go to Phuket, that's 12 hours. So you'd have to stop, halfway. No, easiest way to fly is a couple of thousand baht. For the latecomers there. Funny enough, all the currencies are slightly down on the Thai baht, except the Indian rupee that's gone up a little bit. I mean, I think we can work that one out. Marky Mark, what's the rule of thumb when it comes to dating younger women? Divide your age by 2 and add 7. Yeah, so if you're 60, what you do, divide your age and then put 7 on top of it. to be sensible, because, you know, if you're a 65-year-old, you don't really want to be dating a 25-year-old, because you're talking about when your pension's due, and she'll be talking about Korean pop bands. So normally what they say is half your age plus 7. So in my case, I'm 66. I'm not yet, right? So that'd be 33 plus 7 means 39. It means sensibly I shouldn't date anybody who's younger than 39, and we should be compatible. And as it happens, my girlfriend is 18 years younger than me, and she's very mature. Damon, yeah, I've been a few times. I like it. My friends has a restaurant there, Robinson's UK guy. Okay, I don't know him. Right, now I'm able to go back and read a few of the older comments out, because the comments have actually run out. Let's go back up. Right, Erin, have I pronounced it right? They ought to do a boat. Pattaya to Hua Hin. They stopped it a few years ago. It stopped during COVID. They went out of business. They just, like everybody else, they didn't make any money. They couldn't sustain 2 years, and they went out of business. Let's go all the way back up and see who we missed. Joseph John says, get a miniature, is it Schnauzer? Dog only barks when, I'll go back. Are they expensive? Let me write that down. If anybody else knows of any dogs that are not really aggressive, but they'll protect the house, if you know what I mean. Not too aggressive, not too winky, not too wimpy. Okie dokie. Okay, thanks for that. Thai American says the Thai Ridgeback is a good medium dog. Yeah, there's 2 breeds of Thai dogs, but one of them's very, very fluffy around the mane, a nice size. I wouldn't get that one because of the hair. And the other one, I don't know which one's which, but the other one, that you can see them on the streets, you know, they're quite stocky dogs. I put that up already, didn't I? Ray, nothing like warm poop between your toes. Oh, lovely. She said she'll pick it up. I don't mind picking it up, but she said, no, I'll do that. And I said to her, we'll have to I found a car wash, 200 baht down there, do inside, outside, top of Soy 94. There's a restaurant opposite. She said, no, don't spend the 200 baht. I'll do it. I said, women in England don't normally wash your husband's car. She said, no, she said, Thais do. I'll just take it to the car wash. Right, what else are we talking about? How long you smoked? Right. Well, I left school in 1975 when I was 15. You could leave when you were 15 in those days. And I started smoking at, you know what it's like in school. You go onto the tennis courts, don't you, during the school break, and you have you know, the Americans find it funny. We call it a fag. A fag means something else in America. I started pinching a cigarette out of my mum's cigarette box to take to school when I was young, as probably 12, 13. I didn't enjoy it because the older boys did it. You know, you wanted to kind of fit in with your peers. And then I'd start sneaking 2 or 3 out, you know, and cigarettes draws you in, doesn't it? And I smoked all my life until I was about, I gave up 3 times. I gave up for 5. When I was learning to fly, I gave up for 5 years. I don't know why I started again. And then I gave up for a year 3 times. And then I went on to the vape. And I was on the vape for about 2 years. I've told this story a lot of times. I was sitting on a beach in Hua Hin, and there was a big poster up. Vaping is not permitted in Thailand. 20,000 baht fine or 2 years in jail. And I thought, you know, I'm not doing 2 years in a Thai jail. And I gave up the vape, and that was actually harder to give up because it was like a dummy. It was always in my mouth. So I'd say the last time I had any substances like vapes or cigarettes, it's got to be now 10 years, 8 years, certainly not shorter than that. I don't notice the money. People say, you notice more money in your pocket. I don't. Okay. I'm looking forward to do my first live stream from down there, because unlike here, I'm in my bedroom and I've got this little short table here and everything's crammed on here, and I'm on a laptop, and it's because there's a green screen, it's all crammed in. And down there, I've got the second bedroom, which is quite big, and I'm going to go out and buy myself a big desk like I had in England, you know, and I can pin the green screen to the wall, as it were. And I might go out and buy myself a big desktop computer like I had in, in England, as it were, because I bought this laptop just before I left for England, so it's 3 years now. 20 Rothmans. I used to go to Bangkok for work during summer. For work that meant meant a suit and tie. Since then, I visited December, January, still insanely hot. Get up to Chiang Mai, 16 degrees. Yeah, it's cool. The reason Chiang Mai is cooler is because it's in the mountain. It's surrounded by mountains. Uh, Bangkok's generally around 38 degrees, but it's not the heat, it's the humidity, because it's normally about 85%. In the high season, it does get a bit cooler. So we're talking kind of November, December, January. It drops from 38 down to about 28. That's why it's still, it's still quite hot as far as humidity goes in the evenings. But you can sit in an outside bar and you're not sweating like a rapist, as it were. That's why it's high season. People like to come when it's like that. Right, I've come back down to the new ones now because there's some bits about dogs. Right, Anders, how you doing? Nice to see you. And I do appreciate all your comments on my posts that I put out. Pattaya Bangkok 48, date Thai women 10 years from from your age, because the younger ones always want money. It's not just the younger ones want money. The older ones want it as well. You're just going to find the right woman. If she's working full time in a bank or something, and you take her out on a few dates, and she's not like loading up from the menu and taking doggy bags home for her children, and talking nonsense about reasons why she needs money. Then, I was very with mine. I was very what's the right word I'm looking for? Hands off, not physically, but I was very, very careful, and slowly, she's okay. Right. Aaron says German Shepherds are the best. They are, but they're big dogs, aren't they? And I've only got I'm not sure I can take him. You got to be careful when you walk a dog in Thailand, because you go down a soy and there's 3 soy dogs sitting there. They'll want to attack him because it's their territory, right? You can get these electronic machines that when you press them, I've got a friend who carries one. It gives out a loud piercing sound that you can't hear, but the dogs do, and it confuses them. And they run off. But somebody pointed out to me, but Peter, if you do that, your dog's going to be shitting itself to go. It's going to be very scared to go for a walk, because every time you go for a walk, it's going to be hearing this piercing noise. So I think the only thing I can do is take a selfie stick with me and keep it in my pocket. And if the dogs come for me, just open this selfie stick and pretend I'm going to hit them, because that does work. That happened to me in Jumptin, and they ran off, because the Thai security, the nighttime guards and stuff, that's what they do. If the dogs start playing up, they just get a stick and whack it across their back. So if they ever see somebody holding a stick up like this, they run. I wouldn't have hit them, but unless they were trying to bite me really seriously. But it was 2 a.m. on Jumptin, and they were surrounding me, and they were all giving it giving it large, as they say. And as soon as I opened up this selfie stick and held it up like this, they just scarpered. That's how I found out about it. Steve Austin says, how does health insurance work once your partner retires? Well, she can use a government hospital free of charge. So if anything's serious, she's okay. It's only me who has to pay. There's 2 very good hospitals down there. One's called the Bangkok Hospital. That's the most expensive. That's where I went last time when I had some tests. But they have another hospital down there called San Paulo, which is cheaper, but it's still good. And I'm going to try and register with them and see what they're like. But my girlfriend said, look, you can use a government hospital. As a foreigner, you have to pay. She said, but it's so cheap. The only downside is you have to wait longer. So if I have something that's going to be, I'm going to register with a private hospital and a public hospital, because they will treat Farang, but the price is like peanuts. Instead of talking like, say, 5,000 baht, you'll pay 300 baht. So if I get something that's going to cost a lot of money, like this, right? Okay, I went to a different private hospital, this cancerous lump. I told you last time, MedPark quoted me 68,000 to have it cut out and stitched up. Okay, I went to the Christian hospital where Saladang station is, BTS station on Ceylon, and I had the whole thing done for just under 15,000 baht. So I saved the equivalent of $1,500 just by shopping around. So I've said to her, for little things, if I want to be quick, I'll go to the second best hospital. But if it's something serious where I have to be in a bed for like 2 weeks, I'll go to the government hospital. I don't care, because she said to me, she said the doctors are the same, because they just, they do the rounds, 2 days they'll be at this hospital, 3 days at this hospital. It's, the doctors you're not getting quacks because it's a government hospital. Medical care here in Thailand is very, very good, very professional. Right. API, I have a pug, they're household pets. Okay. Mike Thompson, can't go wrong with a Doberman if trained. Yeah, I just don't want a really big dog because he can run around the yard all day. But if he's a big dog, that's not going to be sufficient, is it? German Shepherd, again, huge dog. Thanks, Vinegar Stoke. Great effort giving up the smoking. Yeah, thank you. Do you know what? I actually feel I'm not a reformed smoker, but I do genuinely feel sorry when I see people smoke now because I look at them and I think to myself, you know, if you give up, you're going to have to go through hell like I did. And if you don't give up, you'll probably have a few years knocked off your life. And I actually feel sorry for them, you know, not in a sarcastic way or anything, but I know how it was when I gave up. It was like for the first 3 days, I felt like jumping off the balcony because nothing in the world mattered except having a cigarette, and I couldn't have one. But it soon dies away. She's just sent me a text. I guess she watches the stream sometimes, but she watches the stream sometimes, but she has it translated. Peter, get a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, same as Moe. You won't be disappointed. Okay. We can have when I get it, we can have a little guessing game, can't we? A little competition. AOW. I used to go to Bangkok for work during summer for work. That meant a suit and tie. Oh, I've read that, haven't I? Richard, stuffy or American bully, best dog I ever had. John. Hello, Peter and gang. Just got to wet Bangkok a couple of days ago. Good luck in Hua Hin. Lovely place. Okay, thank you. Vinegar Stoke, link up with Johnny. There is something happening when you're in Hua Hin. Yeah, I don't know him. You know, like I said to you the last time, I was in a bar at the end of Soy's 94, and he was a meter away from me in this bar. And my friend Simon said, "Oh, that's Johnny from, you know, something's happening." But we never got introduced. Hopefully, I'll meet him and introduce myself, and maybe we can do a little video together. Oh, you know, Irish Dave. You know, we were talking last week. We said, I'll meet. What's his channel called? Amiga. No, it's not Amiga, is it? Alpha Amiga occasionally. The Irish guy has his shirt open in the sea. And somebody said, why didn't you do a video? And I thought, yeah, we could do a video together. And I wrote to him, and he did contact me. And I said, I'm just coming back from Hua. Give me a call tomorrow. And he wrote back and he said, will do. And that was like 2 weeks ago. I've never heard from him since. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't like the way I was talking about him in the stream. Wayman Cowley, Peter, do the research and get yourself a quality rebounder, and you can exercise comfortably in your own apartment. But I like getting out, you know, to be honest with you. Very hot 2 days in Samui. Should try the Soy Dog Foundation. Many dogs to choose from. I actually want to get a puppy. So I know I'm going to get all his jabs and stuff. And I want to get him, you know, I want to make regular visits to the same vet. I want to get a dog that I'm going to bring up from, you know, as a puppy. So I know what I've got, and I want to be able to train him. Nice picture there, Damon. API, I just got back into flying here in Los Angeles, small Cessna. Okay, good stuff. If you want an animal, Anders, if you want an animal for protection, get a pit viper. Problem is that way, no one can get into your house, not even you. Yeah, sure. Who's that who's giving me a super chat? Joyce Romer, second one of the night. I think, yeah, very kind of you. Hey, Peter, will you be doing background footage in Hua? Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the problems I've got here, because they've brought out a new law saying that you can't point your camera in front of people's faces, which I never done anyway. You know, I would be out and about sweeping the camera. But there's less people walking around down there. So I've been, the last couple of months, I've got a lot of background videos that are made in background. You know, when I tell a story, I've got a background. I've got a lot of them because I used to go out and do a lot of walking around, but I've been replaying some of them because I'm reluctant to do it here now, and it's wet. But when I get down to Hua Hin, oh yeah, for sure, there's lots to see down there. And I'm going to be doing lots of background videos. You know, walking along the beach, walking one end of Soy 94 to the other, walking around Bintabat. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got 5 minutes. Let's try and whiz through some of these. He's not talking about me. He's talking about somebody I've just been talking about. Right, Daniel's son. I'm thinking of pulling my money out and just do the 90-day tourist visa. The problem with that, you're limited on how many times you can come in. I said at the very beginning of the stream, a lot of younger guys have been kicked back at the border because young guys, there's a lot of guys work online. They make money from Tinder, Facebook, all these sort of things. They love Thailand. Why would they want to be in the UK or somewhere like that? They want a beach style lifestyle. You know, they can rent a scooter. They can go around the islands. So they want to stay here. But unless you're over 50 or employed on a work permit, you can't stay here. If you come in on a tourist visa, you know, it's not a visa, but you know what I mean. You could get stopped on even your second or third time, they'll say, well, why are you coming back? And you say, well, I love Thailand, I'm on holiday. And they're like, no, if you want to stay here a long time or visit multiple times, you need to get the right visa. So be very, very careful. If you're going to come in on a 60-day extended to 90, probably you'll only be able to do it once a year. If you're lucky, twice a year. People say you can do it twice, but I've known young guys, I've watched TikToks where they got kicked back on their second visit. I haven't told them yet, Steve. He says, I hope your daughters are happy for you and accepting your relationship. When they came here 2 years ago, I stripped my apartment of everything. I told her, I said, look, it's a holiday of a lifetime for them. It's the first time they've been to Southeast Asia. I want them to have a fantastic time. I don't want them to get upset or have something on their mind. I said, I'm not going to tell them about you on this trip. I said, if next time they come back, whether it's a year, 2 years, something like that, I said, I'm going to tell them and they're going to have to accept it. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life on my own. So they don't, unless they watch my streams, which I doubt it, they don't actually know yet. Paul, do you have Union Jack shorts? No. Yeah, I hear you, Michael. Just some of the viewers suggested it, so if that's what they want to hear, I thought maybe do one with him. But I know he does rant a lot, doesn't he? Get a crocodile pup, says Vinegar Stoke. Michael again. Right. South Korea has the thing, has this thing called the Wild Pass, can put as much money as you want in it, and it acts like a bank card of the country. Would be an idea for tourists in Thailand if they had the same thing. Yeah, then maybe they'll copy it one day. Damon, Peter, I'm going for the 10-year elite visa. Definitely the way forward. I wouldn't do it, Damon. They change the rules all the time. You might spend 600, 700, 800,000 baht, think you're sorted for life, and then you know what it's like here. They just cancel it for no reason. You're better off, if you're going to spend money like that, you're better off just paying an agent, someone like Mark in Pattaya, every year, which are a lot less money. He'll do the 90-day reports for you. And you've got it every year. I mean, why spend that much money? I just, even if I had it, which I don't, to waste on that visa, I just wouldn't do it. I know it's convenient and it sounds good and everything, but I'd just get a retirement visa. Honestly, Damien, that's my opinion. That's my advice. Anders, I'm sure they will be happy for you, Peter. Thank you very much. Jammy Smooth, Peter has the Red Cross clinic. It's excellent. Right, you told me this last week, and I put it into Chat GPT, and I said, can foreigners use the Red Cross clinic? And it came up and said, no, you can't. So I'll go. I'm not saying you're lying. I'll go down and investigate it and see what they say when I'm down there next time. Well, not next time, when I'm living down there. Guys, look, it's 9:30 here in Bangkok right now. I'm going to have to end it here. If you're a member or a new member, I'll be back in 15 minutes. I've got the usual stuff. I've got Joke of the Week. I've got some quirky stories that I've got from the Tiger and the Bangkok Post and Pattaya News and everything like that. I've got Spot the Ladyboy competition, Spot the Tiger, Spot the Thai Hooters, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, so I'll see you in 15 minutes. Thanks to all the mods, Chris, Damon, and Franco. Thanks for the guys who give me the super chats. It is appreciated. And thanks for joining me tonight. It's been a good stream. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have. I'll see you real soon. All I want.